Hello, and welcome back to Divine Journey 2. Last time we took some time to set up ore processing properly with our laser drills, and ultimately came to the conclusion between episodes that redstone was too much of a burden to the system, so instead of using more laser lenses, we just ultimately decided to go back to an autumn excavator for it. Not the solution I would have liked to take, given I wanted to step away from excavators, but I suppose one currently is fine. I expect I will probably need one on glowstone soon, but we'll come to that bridge when we get there. We are getting the redstone from this here ender chest that is normally running in autumn. I don't have it running right now. This ender chest we made as a gadget that we could make after the ender cores that we finished up last time. So we made some ender chests, we got an extra. We could make ender tanks, but we haven't had a need for that yet, but I'm sure we will in the future. Overall, I'm not super satisfied with how this turned out, just because a lot of it doesn't work, or doesn't work as well as I'd like to, or the laser drills aren't as good as I would have hoped, or necessarily needed, but the quantum quarry will be coming before long, so I can't really be that upset about it all. Between episodes, I took some time to really upgrade our tools now that we have access to the ender toolkits, because of the advanced ender alloys we have. So I've made some brand new excavators and hammers from scratch, and upgraded them all the way with all the toolkits. They're both unbreakable entirely, and they both have a very high digging speed for their purposes. This is for stone, so it can do just about anything, and this is using the unnatural trait, which lets it mine faster the higher tier it can mine above dirt, or rather, for the excavator in the case of dirt, because it's only mining dirt, dirt's very low block hardness, you don't need any tools to dig it, so unnatural does a lot here. So it's very, very fast. It's almost instant, but not quite. Maybe with haste. I also made this teleportation crystal from Divine RPG and threw mending on it. I was going to make a Rod of Return from Ender.io, one of these things. These are a little expensive, but nothing really out of our range of cost. But these require a telepad and Dew of the Void. To the telepad nor the Dew of the Void is particularly a problem, but this is a lot easier than that, so, you know, why overcomplicate things? Additionally, we had a couple issues with the Empowerer, which I hope I have mostly quelled. We are now using priorities on each of these inputs to hopefully reduce the amount of times where a thing will go into this section, but everything else will go into this section, or slice, I suppose, and basically requiring me to go move an item or two to the right slice. Hopefully that comes up less often, but I think it might still all the same. Hopefully this just works for the foreseeable future, though. Additionally, I did a little bit of work around the base. I'm not sure how much I've shown off on camera of what it specifically looks like, or rather, what the base physically looks like, but I did some terraforming out here. You may recall that this used to be a large valley. Now it is all hilled over. I anticipate that we're going to be using a lot of this space in the coming soon for the various magic mods, as they take up a lot of space. I will probably buffer out some of the sections over here, obviously swap that to dirt. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. It's got some shape to it, it's got some height variation just to move up. It's got a lag spike, oh dear. There we go. It's got some height variation. It kind of closes in this little park area and makes it feel a lot more distinct, is the word I'm looking for, distinct. So I'll probably be pulling the path up here for the various magic mods, likely, I think, Blood Magic and Abyssalcraft. No, Abyssalcraft is first and Blood Magic, so we'll almost certainly be bringing that pathway up here and extending the base out to the north section for once. But that's not really what we're up to today. Or at least, not entirely. I do want to take a little tour around the base, not anything too crazy, just kind of show the visuals off a little bit while kind of rambling about stuff. So today we're going to be working on the rainbow generator, which you will see to the right here very soon, or I suppose the left. We have the room here. I gave it a cool little rainbow theme for the walls. I felt that was very thematic. We have a nice viewing display window for the 16 generators that are going to be over here, as well as a little bit of a staircase to bring it down, and a maintenance area down here that I'm sure we'll be spending a lot of time in the coming soon section. I'm just going to keep walking through these areas and showing off the place for whatever purposes. But for the most part, I have most of the generators almost pre-crafted. I have most of them to survivalist or furnace generators as needed. There's a few that we need to the higher tiers, like overclocked, or I believe the heated redstone generator needs a magmatic generator and the like. But for the most part, we should have most of the bulk of the waiting behind us, because they didn't take forever, but they certainly weren't, you know, fast, especially considering all of the stone burnt we needed. This is a section of the base we haven't really been to too often. As it stands, there's nothing to do here, but I may use this in the future to expand. You may have seen the button for the armory, but may have not shown up here very often. What is this? Oh, it's my old ender chestplate, I see. Yeah, this is an area that we don't visit too often. It's basically just where I leave some old armors and the like. This Realmite armor is what we used initially, before anything in this world. I think that was even before I made a video on this channel regarding this pack. This Elite Realmite armor was pretty cool. I think it looks very cool. Both of these look very, very nice. I really love the that crown and chestplate for the Realmite set. This Valkyrie stuff we never really used, but I thought was really interesting, especially to get the full set. And the Shadow armor was really good, but a bit too fast, but very, very protective. It was really good stuff. I very much appreciated it. And then over here we just have some various chisels and bits projects that we did. The armor that we're currently wearing, a chestplate inspired by a friend's character that I thought was fun to make, and a hat by a different wizard that I liked that I thought was also fun to make. Up here at the penthouse we have the shelves of all of our trophies, as well as this thing that I never really use. These copper chests here, which hold a few just general things that I'm not sure if we could ever get again, such as the Strange Dreams book, the information book, the welcome book, this cool piece of paper, as well as a spare crown of skies, lamp of cinders, and our bag of truth that we can never ever lose. We can't make another, but you know, who cares. And our 3 separate death inventories to count our 3 deaths, of which I personally only count 2 of them. We have a couple parrots up here just because we don't really have a better place for them to be at. As well as up this little spiral staircase, we have our portals to the Void and the Deep Dark. Man, it looks like the Void one's leaking a little bit though, so maybe you gotta do something about that in the future. Ugh. Appears we have a visitor. They did end up also setting up that last tower of interfaces and assembly chambers. I forget what they're called. I think assembly chambers is right from Applied Energistics, so we have the second thing of that. And just as well is I made this matter transporter here. You can pick up mob spawners with it because you can't with cardboard boxes for some reason. I don't know why. So I picked up a blaze spawner from the nether and put it in here. It doesn't work exactly as I would hope, as I need to be kind of close for the blaze to kick on, but we've made a suitable amount of blaze rods all the same from being around here, so that's good. We have another cave spider spawner in this current matter transporter, but we also have a spawner changer that we have access to, and have one currently just kind of sitting on in storage that we might use in the future. I have a hunch of something we may need it for soon, but that will depend. We'll see about that. But, as you know, I'm sure the title says, today is not about that, today is about the rainbow generator. So I split the rainbow generator up into a few separate subsections, at least in my notes here. That being things that are probably not going to be very hard at all to automate, that being the survivalist, furnace, and overclock generators. Those are just going to be like a coal or something to that effect, something burnable. Magmatic and heated redstone. Redstone we can do. Magmatic is probably not going to be an issue. We might set up lava just into Applied Energistics just for that sake, but beyond that, shouldn't be an issue at all. Slime, Ender, and Death. Slime might be a little bit of an issue because we're going to have to set up a milk bucket automation as opposed to milk automation. This is different for reasons I'll go into later, I'm sure. The Ender generator, we just pipe in Ender Pearl, simple as. The Death generator, we'll just pipe in blocks of flesh, simple as, or rotten flesh, who cares. Explosive, we'll just pipe in gunpowder, who cares. Frosty, a glacial precipitator, will give us all the ice we need to charge that. A culinary generator, I'm thinking donuts, almost certainly, from Divine RPG. They are very food dense and saturation dense and are very strong for the amount of wheat that they take. The pink generator, which we only really have one option to do, is make pink dye, but that's not an issue. We have bones plenty, and rose red shouldn't be too hard to get en masse, I would hope. Nothing else, I'm sure, an mechanical user sooner than later after we get the rainbow generator running will solve those issues. And then we have the M and C branches. M standing for mass, as in collect on mass, that being the halitosis generator, which requires dragon's breath, and the nether star generator, which requires, well, nether stars. For C, we have complicated. This is going to be things that are complicated to automate, such as the disenchanting generator, which is going to be a little less complex, than I originally thought, and the potion generator, which will take a few alchemical imbuers, but shouldn't be the end of the world. We will of course be going into each of these in more detail once we get to them, but first we have to make 2 of each of them because we need one for the generator, or for the rainbow generator itself, and we need one to, run the rainbow generator. And if you're not familiar with the rainbow generator, it's a very fancy block that requires every single of these 16 generators here to be running at the same time, and while it's running, we'll make 25 million RF per tick. That's a lot, which is why we have also started investing in this induction cell. We need some more of these advanced induction cells because 3.2 billion RF will not be enough, and I believe I have some providers that we're crafting earlier, which will get us 400,000 input. We will not even get close to taking all of the power that the rainbow generator will give for us, but we will take what we can. All we can do is try and get the most out of it. For right now, at least. I'm sure over time we will be able to make more of these induction providers and be happier in that regards. But even for this sake, well, actually, no, we can probably go get ourselves an elite one. So I'll do that, but that's besides the point. But yeah, this elite induction provider only can input 1.6 million RF. We're getting about a 20th of the rainbow generator's max production into this battery that we're making. And I just kind of have to hope it'll be enough. It's a big battery, it'll be a big sizable battery. It was that big yellow block you saw in the rainbow generator room. But, it's expandable, but ultimately speaking, it will probably be something that will fill up quickly, I imagine. The reason we're actually going for the rainbow generator is for this rainbow stone here. This rainbow stone is going to be a crafting component for the start of chapter 14 here. I believe all 3 of these items require rainbow stone, as well as mechanical users, the dragon egg mill, mechanical users being a very, very helpful automation gadget. The dragon egg mill really bumping our grid power, as the quest would imply, to the max. It's going to severely help any issues we may have regarding grid power in the future. And the quantum quarry, which should solve our laser drill issues. Makes you wonder why I set it up when it was right there, huh? Oh well. As well as an unbreakable builder's wand, but I have been kind of loving building gadgets too much to really bother with builder's wand, so I don't think I'm going to be making that unless it's required for something. So to begin with, the first generator I'm going to be making is the magmatic generator. We're going to need 4 of these, if I'm not mistaken. What? Oh, it's using the furnace generator, or using the wrong generator, and I don't know why it ought to put the recipe like that, but sure. So we need to make 4 of these. We need 2 actual magmatic generators, and then we're going to need 2 to make the heated redstone generators. That being right here, which is largely the same recipe, just, with the magmatic generator instead. Alright, 2 down. 12 to go. And it's a lot. But, one step at a time, one step at a time. Next is going to be the overclock generator here, because we need one for the explosive generator, so we're going to be making 4 of these as well. Nope, my buckets are finished. Wonderful. I don't know what I would have done without it. So we're going to need 16 blocks of osmiridium, thankfully our buffer suffices, as well as, it looks like 8 of these sun crystals and 8 of these upgrade speeds, which those shouldn't be an issue. But the sun crystals are going to be a little bit more troublesome because I have to do it manually, and it looks like I need more enchanted ingots. These are just lapis and gold at the enchanter, so that's not too bad. But, I have to bother with it, which is something I'm not used to doing at this point, right? We should just be able to throw them in here, and they should just be ready to go, though, so that's no biggie. We might actually throw some speed upgrades in here now that we have the grid power to spare. This thing actually barely uses grid power, at all, so we can just throw in 4 of these upgrade speeds, and that should be good. Or at least with this recipe, it uses very little grid power. That might be different depending on the recipe. I imagine so. For evil infused ingots and the like, it's probably a lot more grid power. But that should be the 16 enchanted ingots we need to get our... Ah, yes. That is actually not enough, because we need 8 sun crystals, so I'll come back when I have those. It would also help to have the sun out, wouldn't it? So our sun crystals are all finished. Ooh, a little bit stroby. But now we should be able to make our 4 overclocked generators, which should let us make our 2 explosive generators. Very good. Hopefully our steaming Restonia supplies can keep up. Looks like these are going here and here respectively. Next we're going to need 6 of these death generators, because we need them for both the ender generator and the nether star generator. So this shouldn't be too bad, just should be some blocks of flesh, I think 12 if my math is correct. I believe that is what 6 times 2 is. And we are short on some lithium, so we need to make some more lithium as well. That's the lithium done, so we should just be able to make all 4 of these, no, 6 of these now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll hold 2 off to the side. Take that off the bookmark. The ender generators, oh, maybe I should have made a few more sun crystals. Let me actually do the math for that now. Well, while the rest of our sun crystals go in, we should probably start making the magical wood we'll need. And I think these things are just about done, looks like it. So now we should be able to make, what were we making again? The ender generator, yes. Looks like we need more lithium. We should have enough to start with making our ender generators, after of course making some blocks of ender pearl, which surprisingly we didn't have any of, but I suppose that makes sense. We don't use a compacting drawer there. And there's the ender generators, and next is the nether star generators. These take some nether stars, obviously, as well as some quartz burnt. Quartz burnt is no problem, as I have a recipe for that as well. And the quartz burnt's done, so we should be able to make our nether star generators. These ones go at the top left, next to the overclock generators, and the ender generators go at the far right of the, what is it, the lower half? The top half, actually. Next, pink generator. Need some pink linen from autumn. Uh-oh. Do we have linen? We have some linen thread. What does it take to make the normal linen? So we're going to need half a stack of these bolts of linen cloth. We're going to need a stack of linen thread, so... Oh, flax! Good thing we have a lot of that. I guess I just gotta put it in the wheel again. Oh man. How could I have forgotten this? This was really something. Oh, do I have to... Oh, it's manual. How could I forget? I don't know if I'm crazy or what, but I felt like a lot of those linen threads just didn't give them to me at some point, but that's fine. Should be able to make our 8 pink linen. Nope, gotta make some more pink dye. Now we should be able to make our 8 pink linen. Or our 2 pink generators. I don't know why I thought I needed more, thinking about it, but oh well, I suppose better have it not need it than need it not have it. This one goes at the top right above the magma generator. Next one, potion generator. So we need some splash potions of luck. Do I have any of those by any chance? No, I have a singular, oh, so close, so close. Well, what's the little rabbit hole we have to go down for this one then? Let's come back to the potion generator, actually. Looks like we need these slime blocks, which are not a problem at all. Should just be the vanilla slime block. And sun crystals. Not sun crystals? Oh, magical wood. Well, we have that going. Oh, we completed one of our quests. Well, that's good. 1 down, 2 to go, right? Alright, there's our slimy generator. This one goes to the bottom left, next to the survivalist generator. Culinary generators. I believe we actually have just enough of these enchanted golden berries for 2 of these. Yes, wonderful. So let's get that. And the culinary generator goes to the top left next to the death generator. Next one, halitosis. Pretty simple again, it looks like. Just stuff we've got. Oh, there's one down, or the second one down. That one goes there. Clear that. The frosty generator. Looks like we are just short of some magical wood, so it looks like we need to make some more bookshelves. Alright, those are going in, and while that's doing that, I suppose we should take a look at our splash potions of luck. Looks like we can make it all in a brewing stand, which is good. We should have a brewing stand around here. Yep. So let's get brewing, it looks like. So for the splash potion of luck, we need, or rather, a splash potion of luck 2, we need a potion of luck 2, which needs glowstone on a normal potion of luck, which is an awkward potion with emeralds. So that's not too bad then. We just start with some nether wart, some bottles, some blaze powder as our catalyst, an emerald, some glowstone for potency, and some gunpowder to throw it. Toss these all right in here, if I can. Well, they'll let me. And we should just be able to let that cook for a little bit. Actually, it looks like our magical wood is done, so we can make our frosty generators. These ones go to the bottom middle here. Our 2 furnace generators go to the bottom left. Am I confused? Did I make 2 extras? I suppose I must have. No, I'm clearly missing something. What am I missing? The disenchantment generator. Yes, okay. So I guess that's why we need the rest of magical wood. Of course, this is all planned. So it looks like we're gonna need 2 enchanting tables. I remember these being kind of a pain to craft, actually. Let's see, we're gonna need 16 of these compressed obsidians. Look, I've been feeling like I've been needing a lot of these lately, just for all kinds of stuff. These diamond lattices, we're gonna need 8 of these as well. It looks like our potions have finished, so I'll be putting in the next batch for that as well soon. And there's our disenchantment generators, which go here. Hi, it's me from the future. So the clip I originally had of explaining the rainbow generator and how it works was deleted, or at least I didn't record it or something. I don't have the footage basically, so I'm doing this now. Hi, how are you? Basically how the rainbow generator works is if you have all of the extra utilities generators running at once, all of these, that magical thing will turn on, do some cool disco lights, and produce 25 million RF a tick. But more importantly, while it's running, we can run the resonator to make rainbow stone. Rainbow stone being something we're gated by currently. All these generators, of course, produce power on their own, but each of them have their own unique hurdles of automating them full-time. Or if not full-time, then enough. The power they produce is not bad, but of course, compared to 25 million RF per tick, it's all kind of, peanuts and stuff. Suffice to say, we want the rainbow generator because we're obviously gated by progression for it, and additionally, it will probably just power the base for the very, very much foreseeable future, probably until extreme reactors. Anyway, if that's out of the way, I think we're just about caught up here. Let's get on to what we're doing today. So I have the generator set up into a few different categories here. We have the complicated ones, which will be in this row here. We have the one-trick inserts, which will be in these 2 rows. And we have danger, danger, which are things I don't want to get close to in this category. First and foremost, we are certainly putting the death generator at the back here, followed by the nether star generator and the halitosis generator. Actually, we're gonna put the halitosis generator here and the explosive generator here. No, I think we're gonna swap these 2 again. The hope is maybe the wither effect that this nether star generator will give off might affect the endermites that would spawn from here and kill them, maybe? There's hoping at least, right? The death generator is particularly nasty because if you are within 1 block of it while it's active, it will apply with the doom status effect, which you can clear with milk, but otherwise will just straight up kill you after a minute. Even in creative mode, as I learned testing the other day. For the complicated ones, I know for certain the potion generator and the disenchantment generator are going to be here. The slimy generator will be as well, but I'm not sure what else I would put at the very front here. What else would be suitably complex? I suppose I'll find out after, putting the rest of these in. And then finally at the back here we have our most basic of basics. We're going to have the survivalist generator, which runs off of any fuel, same with the furnace generator. The overclocked generator, which follows suit, but just much faster. The frosty generator, which can just be provided with any form of ice. A culinary generator, which can be provided with any form of food. The ender generator, which can be provided with ender pearls or ender eyes. And I suppose, given what the last few things we have left is, we'll put the magmatic generator here, which runs off lava, and the heated redstone generator here, which runs off of lava and redstone. And so I guess we'll put pink as a complicated generator. Looks kind of nice, doesn't it? So to begin, we're just going to knock out all these source blocks that I was using as placeholders, and we're going to start by placing down these induction casings. These are going to be the walls of our big induction cell battery, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the line I wanted my second power tap at. Yes. So how these induction casings work, or these induction cells work, is they're big multi-block batteries, effectively. And I have this just so perfectly lined up as to basically link in straight in a straight line to our current power supply. What you can do with these is you can fill them up with providers and cells. The cells let you hold power and the providers let you input and output faster. So to start with, we're just going to use this elite induction provider here. And I've got some better induction cells being made right now. So soon we should be able to have, I want to say, we're going to have 2 elites and 3 advanced induction cells, which should give us a very, very hefty power storage. For our rainbow generator, which will sit right here. The reason I have it sit right here is because testing in creative, basically nothing can handle the throughput that this thing runs besides cryo-stabilized flux ducts. So, why bother wasting them when you could just slap it on the thing and get throttled by the only thing that really matters here, right? Those are going to take a while to craft though, so we'll just place in what we have right now. So if we form the multi-block right now, just by putting in all these casings, we get the little redstone particle effects, and we see that we can hold 6.4 billion RF per tick. And at our statistics, we can input a maximum of 1.63 million and output a maximum of 1.63 million. So I don't think we're going to really super rewire the base as it stands, but hopefully we don't have to. This thing's going to be pretty big. We have the space to extend it left and right if need be, if we really want to put more induction cells or providers in, but I think we could probably just up tier over time and that should suit our needs. Alright, so here's the rough layout that I have so far in my head. We have 4 interfaces and a fluid interface. Each of these interfaces should feed into 4 of these generators here. For example, this generator will feed the death generator, the explosive generator, the nether and the halitosis generator, with just some item conduits from probably out the top leading to each of these, and etc. The fluid interface is here specifically because the magmatic generator, heat redstone generator, and the slimy generator are all in a row here. So what we'll be able to do is just pull lava out one end, milk out the other, and probably use another one of those pressurized fluid tanks from Ender.io to automatically fill the milk buckets for us, and then hopefully just pull it out, put it back in, pull it out, and loop it consistently enough. But we just need to, pull a connection through here, which I can do through the wall with my wizard magic, as always. You know how I am, you know how I be. And then we'll just pull these through here. It's not like the prettiest thing, but also this is like the part that you don't see very often. This is effectively the maintenance area, so I don't, hate it not being super duper perfect, So for the most part, I feel like this is going to be the easiest one to start with. So we'll start with each of these by hooking up some conduits. So given that these are super dangerous, we actually want to turn all of these to redstone on in order to require for them to be on. Because, well, more than just the rainbow generator, well, more than just their danger, but we also don't want the rainbow generator to be wasting the fuel that goes into it. Because effectively, we're going to be taking the power from each of these, but more than anything, this is just going to be all the things that power the rainbow generator. Because the rainbow generator is going to be more than likely what services our base for the long term, if I had to take a guess. The rocket fuel will suffice for general needs, but the rainbow generator's big power supply should be the brunt of it. So let's start with the death generator here. Looks like we can use either bones, flesh, bone blocks, or wither skeleton skulls. The only thing that really changes here is the amount of time for each. And I think bones will actually be the least useful out of everything. So I think we're going to start by requesting bones. We're going to take bone, and we're going to pull it into here. We're going to hide this interface, and we're going to have it on 16. I forgot to hook up a P2P, but once we hook up a P2P, it should pull stuff through. And if you're unfamiliar with how P2Ps work, here's our array of tunnels. You just grab one of these, or you make a new frequency, this is called. Ooh, Deca, that's a pretty cool sounding frequency. That means 10. Yeah, that creates the linked frequency, which you can apply to an output tunnel by just right-clicking. And basically what that does is it turns this P2P output into the input over there. Like imagine this is just like a straight portal, like you're playing Portal, like with a portal gun. So we effectively have this cable out on our controller way over there, running through this purple cable. It does do things in case you're confused. It's helpful for saving down on channel costs, cable costs, the like. It really just makes the things simpler by being complex. You understand, I'm sure. Yeah, now we should have bones getting in here now that we're all hooked up here. Next we have our explosive generator, which is either going to be TNT or gunpowder. I feel like it's going to be simpler just to run gunpowder, just so we don't have to bother with the crafting step of making TNT, for what's probably not going to be a very substantial change in anything. Again, were we actually using this for power and trying to be efficient with it, TNT is far and away better because it seems to be more than like 5 times, which is obviously what this would take, right? It seems to be actually 10 times, but, that's not what we're worried about. Next, we're going to need nether stars and a dragon's breath for the nether star and halitosis generators, respectively. So we're going to request nether stars here. Let's only request 4, I think, of those. And same thing for the dragon's breath. We're only going to request, well, I suppose we don't really need it anywhere else. We'll request only 8 instead. So what I also want to check is if I set all of these to insert on brown, and if I have this to extract on brown, does it know where to put things smart? Does it know bones to there? Will it know nether stars and etc. to the other places? Seems like it. Probably get some speed upgrades in there though, just for the faster generators, like the overclock generator I'm sure will really burn through everything. Oh, our poor nether star supply. Oh, our poor nether star supply. We might actually have to go back for more dragon's breath. Yeah, that is all of our nether stars, so we are currently 20 nether stars in debt. I suppose we could use a limited item filter, I think they're called, to only really have the one, but I mean, whatever, right? You know? Yeah, so that's those 4 generators theoretically done. We just need to hook up a redstone signal to each of them and figure it out from there. I think I also maybe want to move around the culinary generator here and the furnace generator to this formation. That way this interface will only really need to supply whatever fuel we end up using to these 3, and it won't even actually have to touch the magmatic generator. So this will just be for probably 1 output from this interface. We could probably get away with a lot less interfaces for this whole setup, but I like having the option of keeping things clean. So given I'm not entirely sure what fuel I want to use for these 3, we will come back to them shortly. So instead we're going to begin with the Ender generator, Frosty, and culinary generators, which, one of these should be pretty easy to start with. The Ender generator can use either Ender Pearls or Eyes of Ender. We're just going to use Ender Pearls because I don't really feel like running it through the induction smelter step and wasting our blaze powder for this. You know what, I've actually been looking through the various things you can put in the culinary generator. The donut seems kind of crummy. It was about 30 seconds, I think. Yeah, here it is. It's about 20 seconds, and all we really care about is the time. Whereas these purple slime balls that we get from just running the farms as is for the slimy generator in this circumstance are a minute 40. Sure, the RF per tick is pretty bad, but who cares? It lasts for a minute. So we should be able to last those for quite some time per thing. So that's probably what we're going to use for this, I think. So let's add that to the interface as well. Put this in here and set up to 16. So I'm thinking I might be using charcoal to run each of these, in which circumstance I'm just going to set a furnace of some variety here and set it to auto import some wood of some variety, output it up to each of these, charcoal things. I'm literally going to have to craft her here for the donuts, but it looks like we don't need to because these purple slime balls should be perfect for us. This one will be for a glacial precipitator to generate us ice, however. So let's make one of those and I'll be right back. So what we should be able to do here is just set this down, have a input on the side here. It looks like we do need to actually run cable from the unending bowl into the precipitator. It won't just automatically take it. We'll just hook it up to this little conduit network on the brown channel. Cool, there's ice. You get it? Like, cool, there's ice. Like, because ice is cold, right? Like, it's pretty funny, right? I know, I'm kind of a comedy genius sometimes, I know. So for these generators that basically just take furnace fuel, we're just going to set a furnace down here. We're going to have it input on the back and output out the top. And we're going to run a quick conduit here on the blue channel just to keep it separate from everything else. And this is going to be taking, I think I'm probably going to need a white list in here, almost certainly. Yeah, because otherwise if we just request wood, then these could theoretically take that, which we don't want that to happen. We only want it to take from here. So what we actually probably should do is just knock these out and put these here, and then I think we save the filter. So I'm glad I talked myself through that. Thanks for listening to me, I guess. So we're just going to take dark oak wood. We're going to run 16 in through here, and it should, once it goes active, pipe into here. We'll probably put a conversion kit on this just because I'm sure this speed will not be sufficient even a little bit. Turn this to always active. And, we'll set it to round robin if that will do anything. Oh, and these need to turn off. Well, looked like just that one was... Oh, that one as well. A few of these, actually. And I did a terrible job of turning these all off. Oh no, it's because I replaced where some of these were, that's why. Okay. I feel like I don't feel as bad anymore. We should just be able to toss a conversion kit on here, and it should be fairly evenly distributing all the charcoal. We're gonna throw, I want to say 3 extract speeds here. I think just 3 here should be fine. We shouldn't need to output a ton here, especially considering 2 of these seem fairly slow in their usage rate. Might actually not even need that much. Let's just take the 1. These ones I think will also be not too bad, so we're just going to throw the 1 in. Maybe I didn't need to make nearly as many extract speed upgrades. Oh well, good to have them. So if I'm not mistaken, that should be these 4 generators filled, these 3 filled, and these 3 filled. Great. So now we're down to magmatic, heated redstone, and the hard ones. So let's do the last of the easy ones first. So how we're going to do this is we're just going to use applied energistics fluid interfaces. We're going to start by requesting lava, which we, as it stands, do not have. And we're just going to run some some ender fluid conduits from that interface here all the way up to the other things, the various magmatic generators. We're going to have this extract on, let's say, orange, because orange is lava. Makes sense to me. Insert orange, insert orange. Now the tricky bit is how are we going to get lava in the system? And I already have a bit of an idea for that. We have this obsidian setup that we've been using for quite a long time, and it's been very, very helpful using this lava fabricator. So I'm thinking we just kind of set up a quick intermediary step of having the lava fabricator go to our fluid storage system and then export bus to the igneous extruder instead of going straight to it. So let me see what the wiring back there looks like actually before I get too in the weeds on this. It's not too bad back here actually. I think I've got an idea. I think I'm going to set a fluid interface here that will extract on orange channel here and will input from the back through the lava fabricator, which will be right here. And then I'm just going to disconnect this little bit because I don't like my conduits connecting if I don't have to have them. Oh, we should be able to just set this here, the lava fabricator right back here, have this extract on orange always, and have this insert on orange always. And then we're going to have this. Oh, this already remembers that it's doing that. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to have this asking for lava as well. And we just need to hook power back up to it and throw our energy upgrades back in because I like having my energy upgrades. And the question is, where is this going? Oh, it has an internal buffer. Well, that's something, isn't it? But of course, we're not here for the internal buffer. We're here to get a... Oh. That's not what I wanted. Found my issue. It wasn't actually hooked up to the system, which would explain quite a bit, wouldn't it? There we go, works, just like I knew it would. Give that a quick partition. Toss it back in, and now we have lava on the system. Cool. You know, cool, like, you know, because the lava's like really hot and it's like an ironic joke, and you know, we got like the frosty generator and it's making ice, and like, you know, that's really cool because ice is really cool. You get it? I know, and it's pretty good, right? Good stuff, right? I know. It's pretty funny. Anyway, now that we have lava on the network, these should actually already be filled with lava. No, because I did not set this to extract. Now they should be filled with lava? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Alright, great. Now we've got, I think, just about 2 or 3... No, I think just the one last thing before we get to the really hard couple. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I got the second induction provider, so I think I'm ready to just kind of call this here. We've got 2 elite induction providers and 2 elite induction cells. So we're actually taking in, I want to say, just over 15-ish% of the rainbow generator now, which is still a lot. That's 3 million a tick while it's running. That's quite substantial. And it can hold, what was it, 50 billion? 50 billion RF. Pretty good stuff. The thing about the slimy generator is that we actually need to provide it with milk, specifically slime balls and milk. So we need milk. So we need to activate a cow or ranch animals. I'm thinking ranching animals is probably going to be our ideal here. So I'm thinking maybe we can put an animal rancher down where we have the fertilizer, and then we can apply that probably to the system as well, so we should probably also make another ME drive and some more disks then. So I guess I'll check you back in once I've got that. So we should be able to just set this right here, I think. Oops. Well, it's not my favorite way to move cows, but it should work. I grabbed an open blocks fan to hopefully push them out into not the way of my rancher. So hopefully I should be able to place this now. Yes, just like that. Yeah, they were too close to this block, so I couldn't actually do anything there. But now they're not. And we should be able to just hook up a energy conduit and some fluid export buses, or import buses to this. Oh, it's already going for sure. Now we just hook it up, like so. Cool. And now we have milk. Yes, now we have milk. Now we just partition. And now we have a milk disc. So now that we've got our milk in our system, all we should have to do is put it in the interface, slap a filter. Oh, does it need to be a fluid filter? Is that a specific type of thing? So it is. As I was saying, we filter this for milk, which I have forgotten to type back in, so that we only whitelist and extract. So now we get milk into here. And now what we need is we're going to set up a little bit of logic. So we need to be importing on brown, but we also need to be extracting on a different channel. I'm going to say white, just because we're doing that for milk anyway. So we're going to take some conduit and bring it down here, and we need to insert it into here. Now the question is, I'm not sure if it's going to be smart or if I need to whitelist this to only empty buckets. Either way, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Oh, hello, zombie. So I'm hoping that if we just put this in here, it'll fill with milk. I want to extract on brown. I should put it in here. And then if we were to... Well, we need to request slime balls for here anyway. So we'll request some slime balls. And then we will put this on brown extract. It does do that. So if we turn this off, it takes the bucket out, puts it back in, but it does not pull the bucket until it actually is empty. So that's good. That was actually a lot easier than I thought that would be. There's a slimy generator done. 3 to go. So I think what we're going to do for pink dye is we're just going to make a crafter and hope that that's enough. Looks like we need some more control circuits. We still do not have this all hooked up. This is probably going to be the first thing we do after we get the rainbow generator. Well, maybe not the first thing we do after we get the rainbow generator. I'm torn between either the quantum quarry or fixing up mechanism. Both seem pretty tempting in terms of what we could get out of it, but I'm not super sold on either one as it stands. Mechanism and the processors for applied energistics are something we kind of need pretty darn bad at this point, I feel. But also, I really do want to, get the quantum quarry, because the quantum quarry is just something you should set up fast. It's nice to have that set up early. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to insert on... Actually, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to insert on blue here, and I think we're going to have this strongly filtered to be our turning bones into white dye, presumably roses or rose bushes into red, and then making pink out of both, and then we're just going to pull it up to here and insert on brown here. So let's grab some filters for that. I'm thinking for the time being, we're probably only going to do rose bushes manually, because we can get quite a lot from just, well, doing what you almost certainly just watched me do. And it shouldn't be too bad to get a big old batch of them, so I think it should be fine for at least the foreseeable future. Well, not foreseeable future, but until we get a better way of automating our flour production. We'll have the crafter set up as so, and then we'll hit remember. So that should keep all of these slots nice and locked, and prevent anything extra from getting in or out. Now we just need to actually hook up power to it. And then if we turn this to always active, it should be outputting now. And it should want to make as much rose red and bone meal as it can. I did, however, forget the pink dye recipe. It would appear. Now we have all that pink dye. Cool. Cool, like the ice, right? It's it's like right here, right? Like it's probably pretty chill here next to this glacial precipitator. Like, this is pretty cool here. All right, so we should be able to just put this to always active, and it should be filling that up now. Great. Now are the two hard ones. Uh-oh. So looking at the final two things we need for our generators, we have the potion generator, which we're going to use these splash potions of slowness, which seems to have 5 total steps, and a lure 1 book. We're using this one because it's pretty easy to make. It's just 1 arcane and sorcerer step, and it lasts for about a minute, which is pretty good rates. The book itself is also quite cheap, just using string and books, which are both things we can make pretty comfortably, I feel, as well as XP, which we have effectively infinite of, and a scary cave noise. So I'm thinking we're going to start with this one, and then we'll leave the potions for last. I'm going to start by just placing the ensorcellator here. So we're going to take off the config. We're going to have it import out, I think, the back. So for this, we're going to need books, string, and liquid XP. Books and string we should be able to pretty easily request here. We're just going to do 4 and half a stack respectively, because I don't imagine we're going to be running into issues with that very much. And then if we have this input on the back, it should take exactly and only what it needs, which is good. Then we just need to hook up Liquid Jet XP, which should be fairly easy. We're just going to use this fluid interface we were using earlier. Alright, and it fills up pretty quickly. Thankfully, even the Open Block's Essence of Knowledge, or Liquid XP, transfers into Essence of Knowledge very easily. Is this running? Looking at the power cost, about 48,000 RF, running at 20 a tick is not great. We can probably just throw some upgrades in here though, and it should be fine. So then if we just put this to extract, we should just automatically take it in here. Cool. So, 1 to go, potion generator. So I'm thinking we're going to do our alchemy here. The reason so is because there's not really enough space to do 5 steps in here, and this is pretty darn close by. We probably will still be using an interface just to drag it over there, but it's still close, and we can use the P2P connection over there to hook it all up to Planet Energistics. So I think this is the rough idea we're going to go with, or at least to begin with. We're having all these imbuers basically do brewing steps for us. So this one will be for Netherwort to make awkward potions, this one will make our swiftness potions, this one will make swiftness extended potions. I'm going to buffer Swiftness 2 potions here because it looks like I'm going to need them in the future. So we're going to buffer the fluid here, and then we'll have a way to make them into Swiftness 3 and 4 in the future. And if we end up needing a lot more potions, then no, well, so be it. But I know for certain, at least, I saw that we're going to need Swiftness 3 and 4, so I want to keep this as a backup in case, that's the only one we end up needing. And then here is just going to be the inversion step to slowness, and then a splash step, and then this will be where we buffer our potions. So I just need to hook up some ingredients to each of these, some power, and I will see you back in just a second, and hopefully it's all working. Here's the setup as it stands. We've just got export buses on the back because I don't really like spamming filters with my interfaces. I've kind of heard that export buses are a little laggy compared to interfaces, but surely it's just not going to be a problem. Starting off with just, each of these of course has an export bus behind it, putting in the ingredient. We have Netherwort with water from an unending bowl down here. All of these are conduit facades, by the way. Yeah, we've got water and Netherwort, which leads into this one, which is sugar, which will turn it into potions of swiftness, which is, as you can see, is in this tank right here. This one extends it, because we want the extended version for what we're making right now, but we may want the potent version for what we're making later. This one makes it throwable into a splash, and then this one will be fermented spider eyes to invert it to slowness. The issue right now is that we don't actually have fermented spider eyes, so I think I'm just going to craft like 2 stacks and hope that's enough to get us for a while. We don't really have a great place to do a lot of like passive crafting. We have the sections in the thermal warehouse as it stands, with like the grains of causality and lunar reactive and stuff over there, but those are our only real 8 passive crafting slots right now. I haven't made any like crafters for that kind of thing or anything like that, which is probably going to be worth it in the near future, but I don't really have a great place for that right now. That will probably be the next big building out the back of the thermal warehouse, but I mean, one step at a time, one step at a time. So we're just going to chuck these fermented spider eyes in here, and it should automatically bring themselves into here. Or this one, yes. Alright, so then we're going to turn all these on back to ignored, and hopefully it just works. Auto input. Why is this not taking? Is auto input not auto input? Am I missing something? Let's just try using some fluid conduits down here. That does it. I don't know why it wouldn't auto export, but whatever. It's fine. And here's our potion of extended swiftness, which we now become potions of splash swiftness, like so. And then we invert it into our potions of splash slowness extended, which gets bottled. Oh, it's actually 250 each. That's a lot better than I thought it would be, honestly. All right, and then we have these buffered. So now we just need a storage bus, actually, for this. So let me go grab one of those, like so. And we'll just set this to 1,000. I'll grab one of these for the filter. Bring it over here. Set it to 4, I guess. And it should be automatically going in there. Yes, very good, very good. So now all of these should be filled up with items, at least. So let me clean this up a little bit, and then let's talk about where we're going next. What we want now is a way to turn all of these on and off at the drop of a dime. Red alloy wire is my initial go-to thought, but I'm not sure if it will connect up to all of these very nicely. If you're familiar with vanilla redstone, I'm not sure if it'll connect up like a target block or a redstone lamp, or if it'll just kind of go past it like it does with pistons. So let's find out. That's not very promising. If I do this, does it... turns those two on? Oh, it turns those three on. Okay, so it does just have to be right next to it. This actually just doesn't have redstone in it, so that's an easy fix, actually. So assuming all goes to plan, this should be pretty simple. We just have the alloy wire hooked up to, theoretically, each of these. I haven't tested it, but I kind of want to just see if it works, you know? So what we have here are these wireless receivers and transmitters. Looks like maybe this way? Yes. I'm going to set this to frequency 4. Oh dear! Well, I guess it worked, didn't it? Ow. That's why we keep the milk buckets on us. Always, you know, be prepared. Actually, let's check this. Did it take a bunch of power? Whoa! Whoa! 42. That was on for not even a moment. That was the span it took me to click like twice. Holy. So this is on frequency 4. So we're going to set this transmitter to frequency 4. And then whenever we turn on this transmitter, it will turn on the rainbow generator. So what I would like to see if I can do is if I can measure the induction matrix. If I can measure the contents on this thing and turn on the rainbow generator basically just whenever it is needed, that would be awesome. But I'm not certain if that's fully doable. I suppose I could just check that now. So comparators are a no-go, but I have an alternative solution. Once again, we are going to be using the almighty power of the power monitor. This thing is great. By hooking it up to a conduit straight to the thing and only to this induction matrix, we can actually read just the contents of the induction matrix. And this thing automatically comes pre-packaged with an ability to emit signal when exactly you would want. This thing is awesome. So we're going to emit a signal when the storage is less than 20% full, and we're going to stop it once it's about 80%, I think. I feel like that's pretty reasonable. So then if we were to take this and hook it up to frequency 4, it would turn on the rainbow generator. But I don't want to do that right now. I would like to grab another resonator, actually. So if I just set this here, really the only reason I'm setting this here is just because I want to see what happens. Put that in. That needs 256. Okay, we're not using any upgrades then. And then we just plug this in. Oh, disco lights! Yay! And explosions. What's turned off? Furnace, Nether Star, Overclocked, Slimy. I see. Let's do some troubleshooting. So that would do it. Yep, okay, that makes sense. We need to take the power out of these machines, or generators, because otherwise they just stall when they're full, which is, you know, smart design. So we just need a place to put all the energy, and I feel like it would be, you know, a waste to have it all go to waste, so I guess we'll just feed it into the induction matrix. Let me go make another port and some conduits, and we'll be right back. Alright, I hooked up some power underneath each of those that leads into the induction matrix here, and hopefully if we turn this on... And it's working! Let's see if we get a rainbow stone. It flickered. It's flickering. Overclocked is having issues. Is it an issue with the input? Oh yeah, no, this thing just is not getting stuff fast enough. Because this needs to produce faster, maybe? I think that's probably the issue. So let's get some augments for this and really overclock that thing. I mean, it makes sense, right? It's in the name. There we go. Yeah, this should be running at 10 times speed now. That should be a lot better. You might honestly want an overclocker, or not an overclocker, a more extract speed on this thing. Alright, it's running. Let's see if it doesn't, let's see if it flickers. Still the overclock generator that's giving us trouble. It doesn't seem to stop this. But oh man, that takes a while. That takes a long time. 5 minutes? I put an upgrade in here? 128? Barely. And that turns it down to what? Oh, okay, 2 minutes. That's a lot more reasonable. Yeah, that dragon egg mill is probably going to be the first thing we make, because we need it. Yeah, it's still just the overclock generator. Seems to be the main issue. But this is just not fast enough. Is it an extract speed issue? Hard to tell. I suppose we could just throw some more on it and see if that does anything. Let's try 4 more. That should really be trying to... How fast does this burn through? It really burns through it. Wow. Like, that is literally no time at all. Maybe I want to look into how the overclock generator runs, and maybe there's a better way of sustaining it. How's this going? Oh, we've got our first rainbow stone. Is that the quest? There's one. Alright. Pot of gold. Hey! That's a big one. That's a capstone. We can technically start chapter 14 now. We will not be doing that today. As much as I would like to, but no. First and foremost, I certainly want this dragon egg mill, which is just going to take us another rainbow stone. So hopefully... Well, we're actually, you know, over halfway... Well, almost halfway there. Okay, it looks like the overclock generator really just is the biggest bottleneck for us. Bam, second rainbow stone. Okay, let's cut this for right now and figure out our overclock generator issues. Here's a new idea. We're just going to use blocks of charcoal. I was originally going to use a crafter here, but then I realized compacting drawers exist, and why waste the power, right? So the idea is hopefully, you know, times 10 with a strong backlog can hopefully keep the overclock generator running for a consistent amount of time. But while we build this backlog, we may as well go get our dragon mill, right? That's what I'm thinking. For that, though, we're going to need to pinch one of these nether stars. One of my rightfully earned nether stars for my 30 hearts of health. Looks like we need this eye of redstone, which are these redstone stars, which we've made before. So, shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, it looks like the main thing here is just the steaming Restonia was our only real gate for that. And our dragon egg mill. Alright. Cur power given. Oh, current. Gotcha. So if we get our dragon egg, which we have 2 of somehow, I don't exactly know how that happened, but sure. Ooh, where do we place this? I don't really want to get rid of any of these. I guess I could just kind of set it up here as like a little floating thing, because, you know, the cool dragon egg mill, it's allowed to float, I think. Maybe we'll give it some supports later or something. Then we just put that right there. Generate. Whoa, that is much more than I thought it would be. 10,000? I thought it was 500. Whoa! Okay. Cool stuff. Alright. You got it. Well, that's good to know. Alright, so I've got about a stack of charcoal blocks in there, so let's see how long this actually goes for without flickering. Let's see how many rainbow stones we can make. Current time is 1:20. Let's actually yoink another of those speed upgrades from here. Yeah, I mean, clearly we can, right? Oh, is it flickering already? Overclocked. Yeah, overclocked's already out. Yeesh. Tough stuff. Alright, we gotta build a big backlog for that then. if we're actually going to make rainbow stone. For the most part, it looks like we're keeping up on everything else besides the overclock generator, though. But boy, that overclock generator does not appreciate coal blocks. And that's tough. That's really tough. I don't know what what to throw at that. Pyrotheum seemed pretty good. Like, I saw Pyrotheum was 120 items, so about a time and a half as good as the coal blocks are, or these charcoal blocks. But I don't think we can make Pyrotheum that fast. We just search by like 3 zeros. Yeah, if we search by burn time with 3 zeros. Oh? Does this work? I am very interested in seeing if that works. I need to do some math, hold on. We did a bit of testing. This will solve all of our problems. Like, I really cannot express, this will just solve all of our problems. It costs 2,000 RF a tick to run the overclock generator. I'm not sure how much of a mathematician you guys are, but 25 million quite supersedes 2,000. Yeah, no, we're just not gonna use these for that anymore. Why bother, right? We're just gonna use this coil thing. Cool. So the recipe on this, not cheap. Takes some melodic capacitors, qubit crystals. Yeah, not my favorite recipe, that's for sure. But almost certainly worth it, I'm thinking. So we should be able to make 2 of these transmitters. Let's see if we get a quest for this. No. Oh, yes! I'm glad I checked. And our wireless RF battery. Then we need to toss an iron bar into a resonator here. There we go, got this coil. Then we should just be able to crack open this, put the induction port on the back, set this to output into this battery here, which only drains 4 of our grid power. Should just be able to slide this right in there. And now what happens if we kick it on? It's running. The nether star generator's flickering. Why? That's concerning. It's full. It can't output fast enough. Really? That's interesting. Huh. Good problem to have, I guess. Oh my gosh. We're already a tenth full of the battery, oh my goodness. So I think given that was taking so much power, we're actually going to use crystalline energy conduits for this and hope it's enough. Alright, whatever time this is the charm, surely. So this should just keep going, right? Should just keep on running. That's the hope, at least. And so far, it looks like our disco lights are still going. It's looking pretty nice. And if that's the case, well, if we can start producing all of these items... Oh, flickered for a second. What was that? What was that? I didn't see it for long enough. It's flickering too fast. I'm holding right click. I can't see it. Nether star generator again. Okay. Is it just power throttling again? Yes. How do I output out of this thing faster? Maybe I'll just throw like an energy trash can on top of this or something. Maybe that really is just the only solution, because like, I don't know why it's so full still. Actually, let me just like take some of this out maybe, or take these out for a moment, and maybe if it lessens the backlog it'll help. Maybe? I'm not certain. So I turned it on by itself and it drained the whole battery just about instantly. So I'm gonna head back over here and take a look at it. Yeah, it seems to be fine now. Occasionally it's flickering again. Why is it flickering again? Let's see if it's another star generator again, then I don't really know what to do about that, besides it's another star generator again. My guess is maybe it's the throughput on the conduits maybe is like backing up. I don't really know what to do about that besides an energy trash can then. But I don't really want to use an energy trash can because that is a decent amount of... I guess I shouldn't be so stingy about it. Sure, an energy trash can's not the greatest thing, but like, we don't need that much power considering the rainbow generator, right? That's my thought. But pardon the constant explosions and all that stuff. I'll put a sound muffler there, you know? That'll help a lot, I imagine. Yeah, so we're just gonna put this here and an energy trash can on top. Okay, now the disco ball should just be constantly running, right? The pink generator's not running. That's weird. Let's look at that now. Oh, we're just out of rose red. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We just ran out of our backlog on that specifically. I think what we're almost certainly going to be doing next time is shoring up the rest of the base. Because there's a few things that are kind of falling under when it comes to when the base is running at like stress test capacity, if that makes sense. What I really mean by that are a lot of the things that we make on demand that are easier with automation, but I really don't want to be doing by hand anymore. Things like the rose red sunflowers for yellow dye, these circuits here, the various mechanism things, pure Fluix and Certus quartz, really just this entire wing needs kind of a fresh coat of paint, I think. The atomic reconstructor is something we definitely want to automate as well. If nothing else, then at least with autocrafters, but maybe with passive drawers. I don't feel like it's super necessary there because the atomic reconstructor isn't super slow. I mean, it's literally instant laser, right? Heck, even something like gray concrete powder, I would like to just be able to make without having to, make it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one more hurdle that I have to deal with whenever I want to go build something new. All that stuff, though, is going to have to wait until next time. For this time, I think I'm just going to wrap this up by taking a cryostabilized flux duct and running it the ways down here. Or, well, actually, it depends on how tough a cryostabilized flux duct is to make. Oh, it's 10 buckets per? Ah. No. You got it. Alright, we're just going to be using our best energy conduits then, which is probably going to be melodic. I mean, 327,000 is still quite good. I can't complain with that. That'll be plenty. It looks like these melodic conduits actually do just completely hook up with the ender ones, which is super, super handy. So, which means we can really just use these whenever we need to. Oh, a bit too high. Oh, where am I? Ah, I'm in Gmod. Get me out of here. Anyway, yeah, these things are pretty nice because we should just be able to hook them up when we need them and where we need them. And that should treat us nicely. So this big battery here should just be all we really need. I'm going to turn this into a facade. No. This into a facade. Plug that up, and then I think we're just about good. It's a little bit more cluttered in here than I would have liked, but actually that's not that big of a deal. We can move this back. Before we wrap up the day, let's take a look at what we can all use for this rainbow stone. Looks like these mechanical crafters, which if I recall correctly, are very, very good. I've never used them before, but I think they're just like single item crafters that don't take power, which is pretty nice. These scanners are pretty good. I like using them for astral sorcery for the crystal growth, so we might use those later. Mechanical miner I don't think we'll be using. Mechanical users, however, I'm sure we'll be getting a lot of use out of. No pun intended. Well, pun a little bit intended. Like it's a pretty cool pun, right? Like, yeah, I'm chill like that. The quantum quarries are really, really good. We will almost certainly be building this, if not between episodes, then at the start of next episode. Because, well, I mean, this is just pretty much hard outclasses our laser drills. These monolith stones, I believe we'll be using for Abyssal Craft. Almost certainly, I mean, hence it's from Abyssal Craft, which is also going to be soon. No. We're going to be using that soon as well. Same thing with the Call of the Watcher. The Horde Horn. It looks like not a ton of stuff, but we are going to want to produce this at least a decent amount, if nothing else than for the crafters, scanners, and users. Nothing I think we particularly need right now, though. Not before we get everything sorted for the rainbow generator. We have the rainbow generator not automated fully, but pretty darn close. Again, things like pink, fermented spider eyes are things we need to figure out a more long-term solution for. That and dragon's breath and nether stars, especially. So before we bother with the quantum quarry, I want to figure out all the other stuff first. But that'll do it for today. We did the rainbow generator. That's basically all we did. really. I guess we did like a little bit of infrastructure here and there, but it's basically just a rainbow generator. But, you know, can you really be upset at someone only doing the entire rainbow generator in one episode? Oh, I know, it's a really low bar nowadays, right? But in my opinion, it's quite the high bar. So I'm glad we did that. We made a lot of progress by collecting that rainbow stone, and I feel pretty smart with some of those solutions we came up with. That wire coil, woof! Real happy with that one, gotta say. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope to catch you next time, and you know, like it if you like it, subscribe if you subscribe it. We're just running with that now. We're just saying words. Later.